know it's been a while since I made a video, but I was gonna quit, but right now I'm really just annoyed. Okay, so I was talking to my one friend about parenting, and we have conflicting views on how we're going to raise our kids. And, see, I'm okay with sleepovers if I know the parents. Like, if I've known these parents for years, and I can trust them, and I know the child, then yeah, I'm okay with sleepovers, but she's not. Okay, that's fine, do what you want to do. But then, she even said that she wouldn't let her kids have scholarships. Say if her kid got a scholarship to go to some school in a different province, state, she'd be like, no. Especially if it's for band, because she doesn't want her kids to be in band. Even if they like music, sorry, you can't be in band. Like, to me that's being selfish. Like, if your kid is given a scholarship, something they've earned, something they've worked hard for, it seems irrational to hold them back. Why? Because you're scared that they might be molested or raped. I mean, you send your kid to school every day. They could be molested or raped. They come back home. You don't know what could happen. Anything is possibly dangerous. You send them to church, to a friend's house, to their uncle's house. You don't know what happens. It doesn't matter how well you know a person. You don't know what they're truly capable of. So, yes, there's precautions you can take, but at the end of the day, you have to go on faith. And she's like, no, I'm not having that. They don't get to go on a scholarship. They don't get scholarships. And then she also said that she wouldn't let her kids go into the trades. Like, say if her kid decided, oh, I wanted to go to school to learn how to be a plumber. No, you can't learn to be a plumber. You want to work with poo all day? But she said, oh, it's okay if my kid goes into medicine and say wants to be a gynecologist or something else. Yeah, so they have to deal with dirty vaginas every day, but somehow that's a lot better. And what if your kid goes to and spends, say, 8 years becoming a psychologist, and that job isn't recession-proof. You don't always need a psychologist. But a plumber, people are always going to need a plumber so long as there's like piping and water systems in their house. An electrician, a mechanic. So long as there's things that need to be fixed, there has to be people to fix them. So, unless you're like a doctor, I can't really see anything that's truly recession-proof. But, again, I found that so ridiculous. And then I was like, well, don't you think you're going to be strict? Like, too strict for your kids? Basically, you've told them that all they can do is grow up. They can only like what you want them to like. They can only talk to who you want them to talk to, which is pretty much exclusively family. And you can only go into medicine. Because I explained to her that's pretty much the only recession-proof job. Because there was this one guy that I know who was an engineer for 30 years, and he was laid off. So, even an engineer, that's not recession-proof, apparently. But she's like, well, they can always get up and move and go find a new job. Well, that's a bit difficult when you have a family, or even if you don't, you have to have the money, it's just more complex than that. And the thing that I find so funny is how she's saying that all her kids are going to be doctors and going to medicine, when right now she's not even in university. Like, to me, that doesn't make sense. And the only reason why this is a bit kind of a big deal is because she's older than I am. So it's like, you have every detail of your child's life planned out, but how can you expect that of your child when you're not even practicing what you preach right now, or it took you so long to get there. And then she was just like, well, see, my parents didn't let my sister go on her, because her sister got a dance scholarship when she was younger. And then I was like, well, look where she is now. And like right now, she's a teenage mother with a son that she doesn't take care of, that her parents are taking care of, living with her boyfriend who doesn't have a job, and that she's supporting, which is weird because you're going to support your boyfriend, but you're not going to support your child. But that's a whole nother story. You have money for a wedding, but you don't have money to feed your kid, or to give them diapers, or to have your child live with you. But that's another story. But she's like, oh, well, that's okay because I have my nephew. If she didn't miss out on that opportunity, I wouldn't have my nephew. But it's like, look at the life he's living right now. He has an absentee mom, an absentee dad. Yeah, he is a blessing. But was this all done with his best interest? You don't think that kind of held her back to an extent? But whatever, I guess. And yeah, so that was one thing that kind of frustrated me. And then, because I said that I'm going to give my kids rules, but it's not going to be like a police state in my house. Apparently that means rebellion. And then she was saying that, like, oh, well, my parents raised me really strict, and, like, look how I turned out. And I was like, they may have done that to a point, but I know what you were doing in high school, so. And then you tell your kids you can only do certain extracurricular activities. So what if your kid sucks at sports and they can't make the school teams, and you already told them they can't go in band and art because that's lame, those are not up to your standards. So kids get into trouble when they have nothing to do. But I don't know, I just found that it's so ridiculous that people can actually be like that, and all of a sudden I'm the bad person. I don't know. I just found that ridiculous. But this is just part one to this ridiculous conversation.